My name is Nancy Williams, and I serve as the co-founder and president and CEO of No More Empty Pots.
My name is Susan Whitfield, and I am currently the facility manager for No More Empty Pots.
And we are reacting to this video from 2013.
We do hope that you enjoy it, because we certainly have. I love the name, and Nancy said, "You do?" She said, "It's kind of long." I said, "I think it's pretty cool."
One of the other co-founders had a dream, and she said, I have an epiphany. I know what the name of the organization should be. And I was like, really? Okay, tell me what that is. And she said, No More Empty Pots. And I was like, really?
I knew it was a tongue twister, and people are going, "What? No pot? No." Well, the fact that they did that, it was like, it stuck in folks' heads.
So I was like, okay, it's kind of long, but I'm sure the domain name is available. So my name is Nancy Williams, and I serve as an organizer for No More Empty Pots. No More Empty Pots is a nonprofit that connects individuals and groups to build sustainable communities and help build economic resilience in communities and neighborhoods. It was difficult in the beginning to get people to see beyond trying to get people food. It's like, no, the food banks, food pantries do that already. What we're trying to do is address the root causes of poverty. We are trying to help people get to a level of self-sufficiency so that they can live the lives that they choose to live, not the lives that are handed to them that other people think they deserve.
Well, that's a little different concept. So that was a lot to overcome, and we're still overcoming in some respects.
I was in the space of trying to prove to people that this was necessary. It wasn't just a whim. It wasn't a bleeding heart thing, that this had hard economic opportunity for impact and potential.
There's no reason why people should be starving. And we shouldn't be playing politics with people's lives because they're hungry.
My name is Susan Whitfield, and I'm the project manager for No More Empty Pots. I oversee the projects, oversee a lot of different things. I do a lot of different things with No More Empty Pots.
She did a lot of things.
I was the face of No More Empty Pots, and I was scared to death. I wanted something that was going to challenge me, and I knew going back into youth development wasn't going to challenge me, because that's something I've done over 35 years. So I wanted something very new. Well, it was. When I walked into Nancy's office at Boys and Girls Club of Omaha, I said, "Nancy, I'm coming in to volunteer." And at that time, she as IT, and she had a cubicle, and it was like she had everything. And I said, "Oh, we got to get this office together."
My full-time job was working as a CIO at Boys and Girls Club, and that was 60, 70 hours a week, and I was still raising 4 kids.
She was literally leading me.
She was the person that I give stuff to and say, okay, you need to do this next. This is what needs to happen next. I would drive people to her to go to meetings, to handle the day-to-day conversations, because she was the person that could physically be present.
Several projects that we are working with other organizations and partnering with other individuals to provide food into a community that is one of the largest food deserts in the state of Nebraska.
We believe that to make an impact, that we have to address many of the issues that are in the community that attribute to poverty, and food is one part of that.
We see this location as the gateway into Northeast Omaha.
I'm noticing all of these details that I hadn't paid attention to. So you saw like the original POTS logo when Susan is talking about we see this as the gateway, and there's the sign up there, but the logo was created by my youngest daughter when she was 12. She was a budding artist at that time. She's a college graduate in theater and dance now, but we didn't know the full gamut of her engagement in art at that time. But she was really good at drawing things. So I was like, hey, I need a logo. I want something like with a pot, but I want a heart inside of it. It was $20 from a 12-year-old. That was our first logo. We spent slightly more than that for the upgraded version.
So as we continue to help eradicate food insecurity in this community, we also will be doing that with educating the community.
And we saw that our greatest impact initially could be in food systems work. So we started with contacting those folks who are already doing some type of food systems work, figuring out what is it that they do well, where do they need help, like where the gaps exist, and then trying to fill in those gaps. The intention was not for us to do all of the things ourselves related to the food system, from production, processing, distribution, consumption, recycling, but to partner with people to make that happen.
We were a little different because we were like, okay, we're going to get together and we're going to see who was the person that would be best suited to, we called hold the purse. Who would be that for the grants and stuff? Who would be that person? So when you don't allow your ego to get involved, it's easy to say, okay, we'll open up our books. Okay, how can we do this and collaborate? That is a basic tenet of how we operate. It is baked into the DNA of the organization, and I think that now that we have more employees, that it's something that everybody understands, that we don't try to do it all ourselves. We work to our strengths individually, and we work to our strengths as teams, and we work to our strengths as an organization, because the goal is to make everybody else better because we're all doing it together, and that we get to bring the best of ourselves to it wherever we are and however we're doing that work. So if you look at the full range of food system work, from production to recycling, that you have a stronger network of people working to support people, support communities, and make sure that it is a strong closed loop system where we have the least amount of waste as possible.
I personally feel like we're part of a renaissance. It's a rebirth. This part of the community has been neglected in over 40 years. This is going to sound corny, but keep hope alive. And I'm always an optimist. And I think that going forward, things are going to change.
Susan uses those words a lot. I think it's her perspective and her point of view of how she sees this work and how she engages with it. And she grew up here, and so her perspective is different from mine.
I was raised in my younger days. We used to come to Florence for Florence Days. We didn't come to Florence any other time because at that time it wasn't a friendly community for Black people. So we always came when it's at Florence Day, and we pretty much would just drive through. So trust and believe. When Nancy said we got some buildings in Florence, I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. My mom, all while we were doing home hospice with her, was so encouraging. She was like the cheerleader. My mom was a very, very strong woman. And she was like, hang in there, you can do it. I know you can do it, Susie. I was like, okay, I don't know what I got into, but. I moved here in 93. And so my perspective comes from what I saw when I got here, and my engagement as a parent of young kids, raising kids here, and being engaged in the community and community work. Before that, the way that I engage is informed by how I grew up, which is a small rural town in Louisiana. So what I see as possible and what I see as history
is different than what some people who grew up in an urban area sees. But there are things that I think we see in common about possibilities, but how we frame that and the language that we use is sometimes different. And so for me to be a Black woman in this space and speaking to people saying, no, I reject your idea of what you think this is, and I am not going to stop until you hear what I am saying the possibility is, and then I am going to do everything that I can to prove that what I am saying is true.
So I'm very proud of what we have done. I'm very proud of the impact that we have made in this community, that we are viewed as a leader in the local food industry in this community.
You have to believe, and you have to, get busy and have a high desire to see the best, not only just in yourself, but also see the best in others and bring folks along. It takes one, never mind, don't let me go there. So anyway.
Yeah, that was good. That at the time we took that video, we had so much going on, and Nancy and I are probably living on maybe 2 to 3 hours a day. But I would say to Susan and I would say to Nancy, job well done. Keep pushing.
You know more than you think you know. You have to trust yourself, and you take the leaps of faith, even before you think you're ready.
There are days I pinch myself when I read reports and say, damn, is that really us? Are we really doing it? Or I go, whew, that's a lot of work. Oh my God, we're surviving this.
But I've learned that gratitude is a huge part of this, and expressing that gratitude is an even greater part of this. And sometimes people just need to know that you appreciate them and what they're doing in the moment, that you don't have to wait until you see some finished product to do that. That gratitude in the moment means just as much as gratitude at the end.
Even when we're not here, as we pass the batons on to the next leadership in this organization, we're going to be just fine.
I know one thing I do more now than I did then was laugh. My first email was helper@NoMoreEmptyPots.
We would say our prayers, and within 2 weeks, it's like the Red Sea part, and it's like money fell. Great!
You need to have either president, vice president, or whatever. I was like, okay, so I can't sign this form because I don't have any of those roles. I was literally just there to help.
I have people now that come up to me and say, I can't believe you and Nancy are still together. And I'm like, what do you mean? What? We are pretty strong willed women and stuff. And Nancy may say I'm a little bit more.
If I could talk to the Susan and Nancy in that video.
Girls, you on it. Stay the course. That's what I would say.
To Nancy, then, I would say, girl, get your sleep because you don't know what you're doing.
We're a little older, maybe a little tired, but the spirit of Susan and Nancy there is the same spirit that we have here.